It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Okay, school is heading back next week for Queenslanders, a week later for everybody else around Australia. And today on the Happy Families podcast, a quick chat during our summer series about routine. Getting the routine right, what we're supposed to do in terms of getting things prepared. Are we ready for this? Now, if your kids are going to school for the first time, whether it's prep or kindy or reception, or whether they're starting a high school or just school is a new thing, we're going to talk about that on Monday. But for today, just getting the routine right. What routine? My name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm here with Kylie, my wife, and mum to our 6 children. We've been through this a few times, Kylie. I think we're going to be okay, but let's use the wisdom that we've accrued over the last 20-ish years of sending children to school. Can you believe we've actually had kids going to school for pretty much the last 20 years now, and we've still got another 10 years of it to go. We've still got 10 more years. Oh,
Was
my
that
goodness.
Supposed to be a hopeful statement?
So our youngest is going into grade 3 next week. Okay, so 10 years including this year. 10 years to go. Take a breather. Okay, so routine. I know a lot of people are saying, what routine? Do I really have to worry about this? Surely we can just wake up on the first day of school and the kids will know what to do and we're just going to make it happen. What's your response to that?
Look, this reminds me so much of the things that I learned in Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yep.
I've pushed against routine for so much of our married lives.
Yes, you have.
Really, really struggle with it.
Yes, you have.
And yet our lives, and I know it,
Yes.
our lives function so much better when there is a routine.
Speaking of which, you and I need to have a really good conversation this weekend about getting our routine dialed in, because I've been trying for about a month now to have this conversation with you and you're still resisting it even though you're saying what you're saying on the podcast. Routine. So let's do it now. Let's do it now. If we were to put together the ideal routine, what would you say that we need to dial in? What are the things that matter most in terms of bringing the family on board and getting the routine right for day one?
Well, it doesn't start on day one. That's the first thing. If we want things to actually work well, then we actually need to start that process probably a week before, getting the kids up at the right time, putting them to bed at the right time, and getting them their rhythm back.
Yeah, I know. And I'm looking at you and going, I don't know if they really need a full week of it, but the idea is we've got to start to think about it and get things back on track. I mean, if the kids need to be in bed normally by, I don't know, let's say 8 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. and they're currently 8:30, 9 o'clock, we do need to start to wind it back. We've got to start to take those steps. But I think that's the getting up in the morning that matters most, right?
Yeah, totally.
Of course, any parent with children under the age of, let's say, 10 or 11, that's not a problem. The kids are up because little kids get up. They're like, I'm ready. Let's do this. So what else do we need to do when it comes to getting the routine right? And the reason I'm asking you, I know that I've written chapters in books about this, but I'm asking you because you're the one that does it at a practical level in our home more than me, or at least you have done over the years, firstly. But secondly, because when it comes to routine, this is really your domain. This is your thing.
So one of the best things that we ever did, and as we're talking, I actually think we need to go back to it, was actually creating a lunch menu.
Yes.
Because we have so many children
Yeah.
who have different likes and dislikes. And often what will happen is I make the lunches and someone comes home and goes, Mum, you remember I like my sandwiches cut like this, or, I like the skins left on my oranges, not taken off, or whatever it is. So creating a lunch menu where they literally, just with a whiteboard marker, I laminated them, and then with a whiteboard marker, they just literally ticked the things that they wanted in their lunchbox each day, meant that I could do a really quick methodical check of that and pack everybody's lunches without any stress or fatigue from trying to remember who's the one who likes their oranges.
Yes, it's just the cognitive load.
That's right.
So let me wind this back just a smidge and walk through my steps to a magic morning. So number one, your morning starts the night before, and I reckon as you get ready for the new school year, just remembering that one thing. The night before school, get the uniforms out, get the shoes out, get the socks out, make sure the school bag's ready, get the lunchbox out, get things organised the night before. And the second part of that is create a breakfast and a lunch menu, just like you have in those cheap motels on the side of the highway, and you tick and flick and then you leave it out and they bring you your food the next morning. That kind of thing makes such a difference because you don't have to do the decision making in the moment when everyone's tired and a little bit flustered and not quite ready to get themselves out the door for school.
Well, what we find often, we've got a couple of kids who really struggle to eat breakfast. It's not something that they want to do. And so when you ask them what they want in the morning, time for breakfast, they don't have an answer for you because it's not high on their priority list. So getting them to do it the night before means that they make a commitment at that point that that's what they want, and then they don't have the decision fatigue in the morning to make choices about something that's not important to them.
Because it's painful at that moment. So morning begins the night before, get everything organised. Number 2, have a lunch menu and a breakfast menu that can be ticked and flicked the night before so that when you walk into the kitchen the next day, you already know, like you've actually got your battle plan. It's already sorted. I reckon the next best thing to do as well is to get the kids up 10 minutes early and get them up softly and gently with a hug and a squeeze and a little bit of love, a little bit of connection. And then as they go through their morning, instead of doing it all for them, depending on their age, get them either doing it with you or get them doing it with your gentle guidance. So, hey, what's next on your list? Instead of telling them what to do, ask them what's next. And I think that that's probably the best advice that I can give when it comes to getting your routine right for the start of the new school year.
Brilliant advice.
Thank you.
Unless you're at home on your own,
right,
trying to do everything and trying to remind the kids. So if that's you, like it has been me for so many years, even having a checklist chart for your kids so that they know the system, what needs to happen, in what order, means that you don't have, again, the cognitive load of having to try and remember so literally the conversation is what's next on your list.
Yeah, and that's the question. What's next, and do you need any help?
Yeah.
Because it's about connection and guidance. It's not about correction and direction and telling them what to do. And I reckon also keep the TV off. Like everything stops once the TV's on or once screens are on. Just keep screens away from your mornings. It's going to mess up your routine. We hope that there's some useful ideas there. If you would like more information, you can visit us at happyfamilies.com.au. The Happy Families Summer Series. Well, that's it. That's a wrap. We're back to regular podcasts as of Monday. We'll see you then.